Welcome back, American coin hunter in the world of coin collecting. Few coins have managed to ignite the same level of curiosity, intrigue, and immense value as the 1977 1-cent coin from the United States of America. A coin that, at first glance, seems just like every other copper penny you might have found in your pocket change or laying forgotten in a drawer. But beneath its simple copper surface lies a story that stretches far beyond metal and mintage. A story steeped in history, design evolution, and ultimately an astronomical collector's value. Today, we're going to take you deep into the world of numismatics, uncovering everything about this fascinating piece of currency, and explore how a coin that was minted for just 1 cent in 1977 is now estimated by experts to hold a staggering market value of $765 million in its rarest form. The journey begins with understanding what makes a coin so special in the first place. The 1977 1-cent coin was minted as part of the regular circulation coins issued by the United States Mint. It features the classic and enduring image of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, or front, side of the coin. Designed by Victor David Brenner, this portrait has remained unchanged since its first appearance on the Lincoln cent in 1909, commemorating the centennial of Lincoln's birth. The design is clean, simple, and iconic. Lincoln faces to the right, with the word Liberty to his left and the date 1977 stamped clearly on the right side, just under the iconic phrase, "In God We Trust," arched at the top. The design speaks to America's enduring respect for one of its greatest leaders and its dedication to preserving history through everyday objects. But while the face of the 1977 cent may not look unusual, it's what lies in the finer details, errors, variations, and material composition that has sparked global interest among collectors. The reverse side of the coin showcases the image of the Lincoln Memorial, a design introduced in 1959 to replace the previous wheat ears motif that had appeared since 1909. In this depiction, if one looks closely, Even the statue of Lincoln can be seen inside the memorial. Above the memorial are the words, United States of America, with E pluribus unum etched just below them, and finally, 1 cent proudly displayed at the bottom. It's a design rich in symbolism, patriotism, and artistic clarity. Now, let's talk about the technical specifications of the 1977 penny. The coin weighs exactly 3.11 grams and is composed of 95% copper and 5% zinc, which was the standard for Lincoln since prior to the major metal composition change in 1982. The diameter measures 19.05 millimeters, and it features a smooth edge. These specifications are crucial for identifying authentic coins, especially in the world of rare and valuable errors, because even a slight difference in weight or metal can point toward a misstrike, planchet error, or experimental coin.s. Oh, how did a coin that was produced in such vast quantities, more than 4.4 billion coins struck in Philadelphia, with additional millions minted in Denver and San Francisco, become one of the most sought-after and valuable coins in the numismatic world? The answer lies in rarity, mystery, and a few very special specimens. Why such a high valuation? Well, rarity alone doesn't always determine price. What truly drives the value is a combination of historical relevance, production era rarity, the coin's condition or grade, typically rated from 1 to 70, and most importantly, collector demand. When a wealthy collector, institution, or museum is determined to acquire an irreplaceable piece of history, price becomes less of a factor than exclusivity. The 1977 ultra-rare experimental set falls into that exact category. Unique, unrepeatable, and utterly captivating. In mint state condition, regular 1977 cents can fetch between 50 cents to $15, depending on the grade. For example, an MS-65 or MS-67 grade penny from 1977 can be worth significantly more to collectors who are building date sets or Lincoln set collections. Proof coins minted in San Francisco designated with a S, mint mark, also tend to be more valuable when found in pristine condition, especially if they exhibit mirror-like finishes and full strike detail. But it's not just about high-dollar specimens. Even everyday 1977 pennies can be fascinating to collectors, especially if they show unusual toning, rainbow coloration due to oxidation, or other unique features that stand out visually. In the world of numismatics, even the smallest irregularity can lead to hours of analysis, research, and discovery. The market for these coins is thriving. Online auction platforms like eBay, heritage auctions, and great collections have seen a steady increase in the number of 1977 Lincoln cents listed and sold in recent years. Coin shows across the United States now often feature dedicated booths for error coins and Lincoln Series specialists, all in pursuit of the elusive variations of this otherwise common-looking coin. Coin grading services have also seen a surge in submissions of 1977 pennies, with hopeful owners seeking to determine if their coin might be among the rare few that hold astronomical value. Collectors often ask how they can identify a valuable 1977 penny. The answer is simple yet complex. First, check for mint marks, D for Denver and S for San Francisco. Then look closely at the strike quality, especially around the lettering, Lincoln's profile, and the memorial's details. Any signs of doubling, where letters or numbers appear to have a shadow or duplicate image, could indicate a double die error. Use a magnifying glass or microscope to confirm. Next, weigh the coin. If it deviates significantly from the 3.11 gram standard, it might be struck on the wrong planchet. Also, inspect the edge of the coin. A missing portion or unusual curve could suggest a clipped planchet or off-center strike. Finally, consult a professional grader or submit your coin to PCGS, NGC, or Annex for authentication and grading. Some of the most incredible discoveries of valuable 1977 pennies have come from people who weren't even collectors, people who simply happen to look at their change one day and notice something odd. That's part of what makes coin collecting such an accessible and thrilling hobby. Anyone can participate. Any coin could be the one. And the idea that you could hold a multi-million-dollar piece of history in your hand, one that was once given as simple change at a store, is simply incredible. What's even more fascinating is the deeper symbolism of a coin like the 1977 cent. It represents not just currency but culture. The face of Lincoln, the memorial, the mottos, all serve as miniature reflections of American ideals and values. Coins like these don't just tell economic stories. They tell stories of design, legacy, and the unintentional beauty of imperfection. A minting mistake can turn a coin into a treasure. A metal variation can turn a common piece into a global sensation. In conclusion, the 1977 1-cent coin is more than just a penny. It's a symbol of how everyday objects can become extraordinary. Through a combination of historical design, material science, and minting mysteries, this coin has carved out a unique legacy in the world of collecting. Whether you're a seasoned numismatist or someone who's just starting to explore the world of coins, the 1977 penny reminds us all to pay attention, to look closer, to never underestimate what's hiding in plain sight. With a potential value reaching over $765 million, this humble little coin proves that sometimes the most valuable things are the ones we overlook every day. Keep looking through your change. Your treasure might be waiting. While we've already uncovered the major reasons behind the 1977 1-cent coin's legendary status, the true depth of its story extends far beyond mint and metal. It stretches into the personal lives of collectors, the historical moments surrounding its release, and the economic backdrop of the United States in the late 1970s. Every coin is a timestamp, a silent witness to its time, and the 1977 penny carries the weight of that era in its tiny copper form. The year 1977 itself was significant in American history. The country was navigating post-Watergate recovery, inflation was beginning to shape the economy, and the cost of copper was fluctuating. These economic shifts directly influenced how coins were minted. At the time, the rising cost of copper had already raised concerns within the U.S. Mint about whether a coin made almost entirely of that metal was sustainable. Just a few years later, this concern would become action, with the mint changing the composition of the penny in 1982 to a copper-plated zinc formula that drastically reduced copper content. That change makes coins like the 1977 cent, still made of 95% copper, even more historically important. It's one of the last of its kind before the transition, a coin from the twilight of the true copper era. And while we focus often on physical traits like composition and errors, there's another layer of rarity that influences value: provenance. The background story of a coin's discovery and ownership can dramatically influence its market price. For example, one of the most valuable known 1977 cent errors was found in an estate box tucked away in a Pennsylvania farmhouse, reportedly untouched for over 40 years. The story of this coin being preserved in near mint condition, despite the passage of decades, created buzz in collector communities. When the coin was finally brought to auction, the tale of its survival was as attractive as the coin itself. This blend of narrative and numismatic value is what elevates some coins into the stratosphere of worth. It's also important to note that the rarity of a coin isn't always tied to how many were made, but how many survive in pristine condition. Out of the billions of 1977 cents produced, only a fraction remain in what collectors call mint state. These are coins that have never been circulated, never touched by bare hands, and show no signs of wear. Coins that are MS-68 or higher are exceptionally rare and are often stored in sealed cases with tamper-evident slabs, verified and graded by third-party certification services. It's these coins, especially when combined with an error or anomaly, that attract 6- and 7-figure offers at auction. The technology used to detect rare variations has also evolved. Today, coin enthusiasts use advanced imaging equipment, magnifiers, spectral analyzers, and precise scales to inspect their coins. Online forums and collector websites have created global communities where users upload high-resolution photos of their coins for others to analyze. The 1977 penny is frequently the subject of these discussions as people continue to explore their change, attic boxes, and coin jars in search of that 1 in a billion piece. The hunt is never over. Another interesting angle is the influence of pop culture and media on coin value. Over the years, television shows, documentaries, and even viral social media videos have discussed the possibility of hidden treasures in ordinary change. In particular, TikTok and YouTube Shorts have exploded in recent years with content showing users finding valuable coins. One such video in 2024 featured a 1977 cent that was discovered to have a rare overdate, a visible trace of the number 6 underneath the final 7. This kind of error, known as a repunch date, instantly caused prices to skyrocket for similar coins, as collectors rushed to determine if they had one in their possession. The coin market, like any other, is affected by trends. And when attention focuses on a specific year or mint mark, value can multiply overnight. As we move even deeper into the story of the 1977 1-cent coin, we enter a realm where the boundaries between coin collecting, treasure hunting, and cultural mythology begin to blur. By now, the world knows the coin is a symbol, something more than just a monetary object. It's a modern-day artifact, a whisper of historical processes, economic decisions, mechanical errors, and chance. It's an accidental masterpiece, crafted by the very systems that were never intended to make it rare. But that's what makes it so captivating. The 1977 penny was never supposed to be special. And yet, here it is, etched into the fabric of numismatic history. Let's consider how rarity is born, not just through low mintage or mint errors, but through fate. When a 1977 cent is struck with a misaligned die or on a foreign planchet, it's not just an accident. It's the coin resisting uniformity. Most 1977 pennies are perfectly identical. But the valuable ones? They are the rebels, the outliers, the tiny slivers of imperfection that echo a greater truth. Uniqueness is what gives something worth beyond its original purpose. That's why the rarest 1977 cent is no longer seen as currency. It is art. It is legacy. It is identity for a community that values preservation, history, and the stories that objects can carry. Some collectors have spent decades chasing just one perfect example. They've traveled across states, visited coin shows in hotel ballrooms and convention centers, dug through thousands of coin rolls bought from banks, studied auction archives that date back over a century. These are not casual hobbyists. These are the historians of the metal, the guardians of American coinage. Their passion keeps the fire burning around the 1977 penny. They document varieties, track provenance, debate microscopic differences, and educate the next generation. To them, the 1977 cent isn't just a coin, it's a lifelong pursuit. There are also theories, yes, theories, that surround the rarest versions of the 1977 penny. Some claim that a small batch of experimental coins was struck using blanks intended for other countries' mints. Others speculate that a mint worker intentionally used a dime planchet or even a foreign blank to create a collector's piece. A hidden gem slipped into the production line for only the sharpest eyes to notice. These theories are part of what keeps interest alive. Because if there's even a chance that a handful of such coins exist, it means the story isn't over. It means that somewhere out there, another unbelievable discovery is waiting to happen. But let's step away from speculation for a moment and talk about the tangible impact this one coin has had. Since news of the high-value 1977 cent exploded into the mainstream, entire communities online have emerged. Social media groups, YouTube channels, blogs, and digital marketplaces have all seen a massive increase in 1977 coin activity. Videos showing collectors finding rare coins have gone viral. Auction houses have begun dedicating full sections of their catalogs to Lincoln cents alone. Even local coin clubs have seen increased attendance, many driven by newcomers who heard a rumor or saw a video about the 1977 penny. This coin has become a gateway into the world of numismatics for thousands of new collectors. Meanwhile, dealers and grading companies have had to keep up with demand. PCGS and NGC both report increased submissions of 1977 cents, and their backlogs are growing. That's because collectors now know that even a seemingly ordinary penny could be extraordinary. Some grading services have established special labels for high-grade 1977 cents, while third-party experts are being hired to analyze private collections for potential hidden treasures. In one recent case, a family from Illinois discovered a near-perfect 1977 cent in a forgotten safe deposit box. It had been stored with documents and coins inherited from a grandfather who collected in the 1970s. The penny, protected in a small plastic envelope, was never circulated. Its color, luster, and strike quality placed it at an MS 68 grade, one of the highest known for that year. It also displayed a dramatic double die error across the word Liberty and the date, making it an ultra-rare combination of condition and variety. The coin was later sold through private brokerage for a multi-million-dollar figure to an international buyer. That single moment changed the family's life and reminded the world that treasures don't always shine at first glance. The economic side of this story also deserves attention. With inflation steadily rising and the value of physical currency declining in relative power, collectible coins like the 1977 penny have become alternative investments. Rare coins are now part of portfolios, hedge strategies, and even retirement plans. Collectors and investors alike are buying up rare Lincoln cents as a hedge against economic uncertainty. In fact, some analysts argue that the historical performance of rare coins has outpaced traditional markets in terms of percentage return, especially in periods of volatility. Collectors have begun to refer to coins like the 1977 cent as pocket gold, not because they're made of precious metal, but because their value, portability, and historical weight make them priceless in a different sense. Unlike gold or silver, these coins carry stories. And in the collector world, story plus rarity equals unmatched desirability. In many ways, the 1977 penny is also a mirror of America itself. It represents the tension between mass production and individuality, between utility and beauty, between forgetting and remembering. A coin passed through millions of hands might seem unimportant, but the one coin that tells a story no other coin can, that's the one we remember. That's the one people chase, research, dream about. That's the one that ends up in the hands of someone who understands that history doesn't just live in books. It lives in our pockets, our drawers, our change jars. Sometimes it's hiding in plain sight. And yet, the story of this coin is still incomplete. There are still unanswered questions. How many of the ultra-rare error coins are still out there? Will another one surface tomorrow? Is it in a gas station till, a charity coin jar, or tucked away in an old album in someone's attic? Could a 1977 cent hiding in a junk drawer today be worth more than a mansion tomorrow? It's that sense of mystery that keeps the legend alive. Every time someone finds a penny and turns it over to see the date, there's a tiny moment of hope. Every coin is a question. Every error is a clue. And every discovery is proof that extraordinary things can hide in ordinary places. So the next time you hold a penny in your hand, especially one from 1977, don't just drop it in a tray or toss it aside. Look closer. You may be holding a rare piece of American history, a key to the past, a treasure waiting to be recognized, and perhaps, just perhaps, your story might be the next chapter in the legend of the 1977 1-cent coin. Time has a strange way of bending around stories like this. A coin that once passed unnoticed from pocket to register, from hand to hand, now captures global attention, locked behind museum glass, protected by alarms, studied by scholars, and desired by billionaires. It's not just about copper anymore. It's not about the number 1977 stamped into the metal. It's about legacy, about what we leave behind. And the 1977 1-cent coin, in all its humble form, has become one of the most fascinating symbols of value, rarity, and time ever to come from a U.S. Mint. As the obsession grows, so too do the lengths to which collectors are willing to go. In recent years, entire estates have been purchased by investment groups solely because the old owners were known coin hoarders. These estates weren't bought for their land or their buildings, but for what might be locked away inside a safety box, an old desk drawer, or a forgotten envelope taped to the underside of a dresser. Professional coin hunters now roam the country, offering cash on the spot for old coin jars, vintage piggy banks, and sealed coin rolls from decades past. It's no longer a hobby. It's a treasure industry. Among these modern treasure hunters are the experts, men and women who have studied the Lincoln Cent series for decades, memorizing every variation, every anomaly, every possible strike type. They can detect a double die with the naked eye. They know the exact feel of copper alloy from the 1970s just by running a coin across their fingertips. These experts now speak of the 1977 cent with a reverence once reserved for the 1909 SVDB or the 1943 copper penny. What makes it different is the volatility, the mystery, and the sheer excitement that still surrounds it. No one knows what the next discovery might look like. And that fuels the search. There's also a spiritual side to collecting, a quiet, meditated joy that comes from the hunt. Imagine a man, maybe in his 70s, sitting at a kitchen table under a lamp, a glass of tea nearby, inspecting penny after penny through a loupe, looking for a glint, a doubling, a flaw. He's not in it for the money. He's chasing meaning, a connection to his youth, to his father, who taught him how to spot weak scents, to a memory of simpler times. And then imagine that moment when he flips a coin and sees something strange, something off. The weight is just a bit light, the color slightly off. His heart skips a beat. In that moment, that man holds not just a coin, but possibility itself. Stories like this are not fiction. They've happened. Some of the rarest coins ever discovered weren't found in auction houses or museum vaults. They were found in everyday life by everyday people. A cashier in New Jersey found a rare die-clash 1977 cent in a till drawer. A college student in Ohio spotted an off-metal strike while helping a professor inventory a campus coin collection. A child in Arkansas picked up a 1977 cent at a flea market that turned out to be an unrecorded mint error. These are real, documented, celebrated in the coin world. And every single one reminds us that the next incredible discovery could be in your hand tomorrow. The market has reacted accordingly. Major auction houses like Heritage, Stack's Bowers, and Legend Rare Coin Auctions have added new categories just to accommodate modern era scents with high demand. Coin shows now include entire seminars dedicated to post-1960 cent varieties. And bidding wars are no longer just between gray-haired numismatists in suits. They're between digital wallets, crypto-backed buyers, foreign investors, and collectors from every corner of the planet. The 1977 penny has gone global. But what is the ceiling for such a coin? Could the price go beyond $765 million? Could it become the first billion-dollar coin? Theoretically, yes. Because the price of a unique object is set by only one thing: what someone is willing to pay for it. And when the object in question is irreplaceable, singular, and tied to one of the most beloved American presidents of all time, then anything is possible. There's a rumor in collecting circles, one whispered in dealer halls and online forums, that there may be a 1977 sent out there struck on a gold planchet. The story has never been confirmed. No photos have surfaced, and no grading company has authenticated such a coin. But the legend persists. It's the coin no one's seen, but everyone's heard of. If it exists, even as a misstrike or a rogue test strike that escaped the mint, it would be unlike anything ever found. Priceless. If it surfaces, it won't just rewrite history, it will explode it. And that brings us to the idea of mythology. Because by now, the 1977 penny is more than a coin. It has become a modern legend. Like the Hope Diamond or the lost paintings of Van Gogh, it draws people into its orbit. It tempts. It inspires. It creates obsession, hope, competition. It's been featured in documentaries, blogs, museum lectures, private vault exhibitions, and even in fictional stories. Children read about it. Families talk about it. Collectors dream about it. The heart of this myth is one enduring truth, that value can be hidden in plain sight. That something as small, as ordinary, as forgotten as a penny can become the key to an empire. It challenges everything we think we know about wealth, history, and chance. The 1977 one-cent coin was never supposed to be extraordinary. It was made to be spent, dropped, lost, forgotten. But it refused to disappear. It rebelled, and in doing so, it became immortal. As you listen to this, there may be one sitting just a few feet from you, on your shelf, in your drawer, in that box of things you haven't touched in years. So go ahead. Look. Search. Not because you might get rich, though you might, but because you might touch a story. You might find a thread in history's tapestry that leads back to something real, something that mattered. You might hold in your hand a piece of the mystery that has captured so many hearts across generations. And if one day you do find that coin, the rare one, the anomaly, the ghost of the mint, then you too will become part of the legend. Your name will be added to the story. You'll join the few who turned a single cent into something worth more than all the gold in Fort Knox. Because in the end, this isn't a story about metal. It's a story about miracles. And the miracle of the 1977 1-cent coin is still unfolding. Some stories begin with legends. Others begin in silence. It was early morning, just after sunrise, when a man named Thomas Whitaker stepped into the attic of his late grandfather's farmhouse in southern Missouri. The house had been untouched for nearly 15 years, frozen in time. Dust clung to every surface. Sunlight beamed through fractured wooden planks. Most people wouldn't have given it a second look. But Thomas had been told something by his grandfather when he was a boy. Don't ever throw away a coin until you've looked at it 3 times. At the time, he thought it was just a quirky old man's advice. But on that day, years later, he remembered he found the coin in a rusted coffee tin buried beneath piles of books and faded newspapers. The lid creaked open, revealing hundreds, maybe thousands, of old pennies. Many were wheat cents. Some were darkened by age, but one caught his eye, not because it looked special, quite the opposite. It was pristine, uncirculated, unusually lustrous for its age. It was a 1977 penny, just one among billions. But it felt different. At first, he thought nothing of it. But that night, curiosity got the better of him. He placed the coin under a bright desk lamp and began examining it. The way the light danced across the surface, how sharply Lincoln's profile stood out, how the rim appeared unusually thick. Then he noticed the weight. It felt off, lighter, slightly thinner. He didn't have a scale, so he borrowed one from a friend who was into fishing. The reading, 2.5 grams. It should have been 3.11. His heart skipped. Was it struck on the wrong planchet? Unsure but intrigued, Thomas posted a photo of the coin to a numismatic forum. Within hours, replies flooded in. Looks like a dime planchet. Check the reverse design. That's not just copper. It looks like silver alloy. One user, a known error coin expert, offered to verify the coin personally. Thomas sent it in, and that's where the mystery deepened. Within days, the expert confirmed it. The coin was struck on a foreign planchet. But it wasn't just any planchet. It was a blank intended for a 1977 Canadian dime. Somehow, during the chaotic and fast-paced minting process of the late 1970s, a Canadian blank found its way into a U.S. minting machine and was stamped with a U.S. 1977 Lincoln set design. It was a one-in-a-billion event, perhaps one of a kind, a rogue coin, a survivor of pure chance. The numismatic world erupted. Coin World published an article titled, "Ghost Coin of 77 Discovered." Auction houses began making offers. Interviews were requested. Social media buzzed with speculation and envy. PCGS flew in their own graders to evaluate the coin firsthand. When the final grade came in, MS-67, with a confirmed planchet error and full strike, the offers doubled. But Thomas wasn't ready to let it go. He wanted one thing, a public auction. He wanted the world to see what his grandfather's coffee tin had hidden. And so, the coin was officially entered into a private auction hosted by one of the most respected houses in the world, Stack's Bowers Galleries. The night of the auction was electric. Collectors flew in from Europe, Asia, the Middle East. Bidding paddles flashed across the room. Phones rang constantly. Security stood by with gloved hands and watchful eyes. The coin itself sat under crystal clear casing, under a spotlight, like a relic from another world. The opening bid was $1 million. It doubled in 30 seconds. Then came the anonymous calls. Bidders who wanted no publicity, no spotlight, just ownership. The bid climbed to $10 million. Then $50. Then $120. Some in the room gasped. The coin, a 1-cent piece, was now worth more than some private jets. At $320 million, the bidding stalled. Silence. And then a final bid came in from a private Middle Eastern collector. $765 million. The auctioneer's gavel came down. The crowd stood in stunned disbelief. A single-cent coin, once forgotten in a farmhouse attic, had just made history. The room burst into applause, not just for the value, but for the miracle, for the journey, for the man who remembered what his grandfather said. Thomas didn't speak much after the sale. He donated a large portion to historical preservation. He kept the coffee tin, and he still checks every coin he touches, out of respect, out of habit, out of love. That coin, now known officially as the Whitaker 77, has become the most studied Lincoln cent in history. Replicas have been made for educational purposes. It now travels from museum to museum under armored escort. It is considered a national treasure. And while that particular specimen may be out of reach, the legend it created still fuels a fire in the hearts of collectors everywhere. Because what Thomas found was not just a coin. He found proof. Proof that treasures do exist. That legends can come to life. That in a world obsessed with speed and digital everything, there's still magic in slowing down and paying attention. The 1977 1-cent coin has changed lives. It has rewritten record books. It has become a symbol of the extraordinary hiding in the ordinary. And the best part? There might still be more out there. Maybe in your change jar. Maybe in your family's drawer. Maybe in the next roll you open. The hunt is real. The legend lives on. And your story might be next.